Today, I want to talk about an opportunity that most of your competitors haven't figured out yet. And here's what's happening. Your ideal clients are starting to ask AI for recommendations instead of searching in Google. So they open ChatGPT, let's say, and ask, who are the best? And then they put the specialty in your area. And AI will give them 2, 3 specific names. Now, most businesses are still only optimizing for Google, which means this is your window right now to establish yourself, your business as the expert that AI is recommending before your competitors catches out on this new strategy. So here's what makes this particularly interesting. Early data suggests AI referred traffic can convert significantly better than traditional search because AI is pre-qualifying for relevance before making the recommendation. So you're not just getting the visibility, you're getting the higher quality leads, which is kind of like the goal here. So let me give you the context of what's happening in the market right now. Google still dominates search with roughly about 80 to 90% as a global share, but Google share appears to be slowly declining while AI tools are growing. So generative AI, those tools like, ChatGPT, one of the large language models, have quickly captured a noticeable slice of the search-like queries. Now, think about your own behavior. When was the last time you actually clicked through multiple websites from a Google search versus just asking AI for an answer? So 60% of searches now end without anyone really clicking on a website, and that is the zero-click problem. So here's the opportunity, and this is why I wanted to bring this up in this show. Your ideal clients are asking AI, who should I work with? And right now, you can position yourself, your business, to be one of the 2, 3 recommendations that AI is providing during that search. So today I'm walking you through exactly how to do this. And it is called Answer Engine Optimization, which is AEO. And I'm giving you the 5 specific actions you can start this week for your business. So I've also created a downloadable checklist with all the frameworks and the planning so you can really use this as a guide after you finish listening to the show or watching it on YouTube. So then you get an idea on how to start implementing as soon as you understand the strategy. And the link with all the information will be in the show notes, so then you can get that going. And this is a 90 to 100-day strategy. So you can start today to start implementing as they want, but it's not going to be a quick strategy. You really need to work on it and just listen through the whole episode so that you can get the whole gist of it and then understand how to get that done. So let's dive in. Okay, so first, we need to understand how AI actually makes decisions about who to recommend because it is fundamentally different from how Google works. So when you ask ChatGPT or any large language model, something like, who are the best business coaches in Chicago, let's say, what is actually happening behind the scenes? AI is looking at all the content that has access to and is asking which content has the highest relevance to this specific query. It is not looking at backlinks. It is not looking at how many keywords you stuffed into your meta tags. It is not looking for relevance. It is actually looking for relevance specifically to the question that you ask, right? So AI uses the 3 main factors to decide whether to cite you or recommend you. So the first one is the question-centric relevance. So we're going to look into relevance for answering the question. AI is looking for content that is structured as questions and answers. It wants to see that you are directly addressing the questions people actually ask. And here's the key. It likes content that is layered from general to specific. So you might start with what is, business coaching as the general question. Then you will move to how much does coaching or business coaching calls. Then you go into business coach versus consultant. What is the difference? And then is coaching right for me? So there's so many questions within your business and your specialty that you can go from broad to more specific. So layering really matters here because it shows AI that you are comprehensively covering the topic, right? Second is credibility and trust. And they're really checking that in the during the question. So, and this is really huge. So AI has built-in truth checking mechanisms where they're doing these fact checking. So if your information isn't factually accurate, AI will literally cancel it out and won't cite you. It doesn't matter how well optimized your content is for keywords. So this is really different from traditional SEO, where sometimes popular opinions could win even if it wasn't technically accurate. AI is really fact-checking everything now. Third is the machine readable format. So AI prioritizes content and it can really easily read and extract from, right? So that means things like structured data, properly formatted, frequently asked questions. Think of like having like a nutrition label on your content. AI can quickly understand what you're saying and quote it accurately. Now, here's something really important. When you optimize for for one AI platform, you're actually optimizing for all of them. So um, literally, you're optimizing for ChatGPT, for Claude, for Perplexity, for Google Gemini. They all pull from the same general space. So you're not trying to rank differently on different platforms. You do the work once, and it works across all of them, all of the large language models. And remember what I mentioned at the beginning, early data suggests that AI referred traffic can convert significantly better than traditional search traffic. And you know why? Because AI is pre-qualifying, right? When AI recommends you, it's essentially telling the person this expert is highly relevant to what you need based on the question that you ask. And that's powerful. So that is how AI decides. It is looking for question-based content, factual accuracy, and then machine-readable format. Now, let's talk about how this is different from SEO, because you might be kind of confused about all this. So you might be thinking, Mariana, I spent years working on SEO. Now is all that time wasted? And the answer is no. SEO is not dead, but the game has changed and you need to add a new strategy to what you're doing today. So let me break down the key differences between SEO and AEO. So with SEO, your goal was to rank in the top 10 results on page one of the Google search, right? With AEO, your goal is to be the recommendation, not just to appear in a list, but to be the answer. So AI will give it will give when someone asks who is the answer for the top 2, 3 recommendations. So with SEO, you're kind of competing to 10 spots in the first page of the search of the Google search. With AEO, AI typically gives 2, 3 recommendations total. So the competition is actually tighter in some ways, and also the reward is bigger too. So SEO content was, kind of like keyword focused. You would figure out what are the keywords people were searching for and optimize around those, right? Where AEO content is question answering focused. You're directly addressing the questions people ask. So traditional SEO takes about 6 to 24 months to really see results, where for AEO, we're looking at about 90 to 100 days. which is 3 to 6 months. That is significantly faster, right? So from an authority standpoint, right, with SEO, backlinks were everything. The more high quality sites linking to you, the better. Now with AEO, it is all about the real credentials plus factual accuracy. AI wants to see that you actually know what you're talking about, not just the other websites linked to you. So let's talk about success metrics now with this strategy. SEO measures success by traffic volume. How many people visited your site? That's kind of like how you would fact check like the SEO success metrics. With AEO, that measures the success by being cited and recommended. Are you the expert that AI is pointing to for whatever they're searching for? Now, when it comes to conversion, here's where it gets really interesting. Traditional search traffic converts at a baseline rate, but early data shows that AI referred traffic is converting significantly better for many businesses because, again, AI is pre-qualifying, right, and only recommending the most relevant experts. Now, all of this is based on a framework that Google spent 20 years developing. And that framework is called EEAT. And that stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And yes, the mouth words is trying to say all these words. So let's talk about the framework, the Google framework. Experience, that's the first one. And that means you have actually done the thing. You are the practitioner, you have the case studies and the real results. The second one is expertise, means you have deep knowledge that you have demonstrated through credentials, published work, and speaking engagements. The authority piece means that others recognize you. You've been mentioned in the media, you've been cited by other experts, and you have been invited to speak. And then the trust, right? Meaning your information is accurate. You cite your sources, you are honest about limitations, and you're factual. You have the trust from the sources. So this is the Google public framework, and AI systems learn from it. So let's say any large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, they're all applying these same principles when they decide whether to recommend you or not. So when someone asks Claude, who are the best leadership coaches in my area, do you show up? That is the question we are solving today. And look, AEO isn't replacing SEO, at least for now. Think of it as adding a new channel. You're still going to want people to find you through Google. I'm not saying that that's not important, but now you also have a need, people to find you through AI. So it is both and not either or, okay? That's the strategy as of today. All right, so you understand how AI works, right? You understand the difference between how you search with AI versus SEO. Now let's get a little bit tactical here. It's going to give you, help. It'll help you to be more specific on the actions that you need to take. And this week, like this is gonna be start implementing the strategies and in order to see how this can move the needle in your business. So the first action you need to take is to test your current AI visibility. So this takes about 15 minutes, and it's actually the single most important thing that you can do today. You need to know your baseline. Where do you stand right now? And here's what you can do. Let's say go to ChatGPT or whatever large language models you use. And this is critical. Open it in an incognito mode, because you don't want them to read. You don't want them. You want them to. You don't want them to personalize the results based on your browsing history. So that's why you want to use the incognito mode. So you want the result to be seen from a stranger, right? Then ask, who are the best, and then whatever your specialty is in your region. Use your actual specialty, right? So for me, it will be who are the best AI and business advisors in Chicago. So for you, it might be who are the best business coaches in Atlanta, I don't know, or who are the best web designers in Austin, whatever your specialty is and your location. So document what you see and then look at, you mentioned there, if you are, is the information accurate? Or are you not showing up at all, right? Then repeat this exact same process with another language model, let's say Claude. Also do it in the incognito mode. And then do it again with Perplexity and do it in the incognito mode. You are testing across these three platforms because while they pull, they pull from similar sources, they might be citing different people. So you kind of want to see what's coming out from that search in the different large language models. So that builds your baseline. So write that down. Now I have a checklist that I put together for you that documents the process and how you can go through this. So that will help you to implement after you listen to this recording. And just be honest with yourself about what you find. Most of you are going to discover that you're not showing up at all because, as I mentioned earlier, there's only 2-3 recommendations that AI provides. So if you're not very strong setting up, how you set it up, that your name might not show up. So, and that's okay, but that's where you can start doing the work, and this is what we are focusing on today's show. Second action will be to build your question bank. This one might take about a couple hours, but it's the foundation for our entire AEO strategy. So AI will look at question-centric content. So you need to know what questions to answer. So this is the process. The first step will be to identify your seed keywords. These are the highly relevant words to your business, right? For business, let's say for a business advisor, it might be coaching, leadership, strategy, transformation, accountability, growth. Just brainstorm 10 to 15 core keywords specifically to your business, right? To your industry. You can even, get the help from ChatGPT to get that, asking what are the main keywords related to my business type, right? The second step will be to convert those keywords to questions. And this is where it gets good because you can ask ChatGPT, what are the top question-based queries people search about my specialty, whatever your business is. And you can use some free tools like Answer the Public. This is free and it will show you all the questions that people are asking around keywords. You can also use SEMrush, another free tool that you can leverage as well, which is a keyword research tool. You want to end up with at least 50 to 100 questions. That's why it take a couple hours because you got to work on that. And I know that sounds like a lot, but you are building a comprehensive question bank, and that's kind of like the action for that. The third step would be to layer your questions from general to specific. Remember, AI likes the layering of information. So organize the questions from broad to narrow. So start with what's your service, then how much does your service cost, then X versus Y comparison questions within your industry and services that you provide. Is whatever your business right for me or service for me. Your checklist has like the one that I put together has a worksheet for this that you can use it and can help you with the structure. So this question bank is going to power all of your content creation for the next 6 months, okay? The third action is to create your frequently asked questions page. And this is your credibility multiplier. Your frequently asked questions are absolutely critical for AEO. So here's why. Your frequently asked questions widen the AI's context window, right? And about you, your business, what you do, how you help. So they make your website look more credible to AI. They back up the factual basis of your claims. And AI specifically looks for frequently asked questions structure content. That's why we're doing this. So the structure that works is you use questions as your headings, right? Use the exact wording people actually ask and pull it from your question bank, right? Give a direct answer in the first 60 words, and this is what AI is going to extract and quote. So make it good, make it clear, make it accurate, and make it specific to the point. AI doesn't like words and words and words. It really likes to go to the point, and I love that part because I'm so like that, very straightforward. So make it 60 words or less. Then provide context and details. So your total answer should be about 200 to 400 words. One question equals one clear answer. So don't try to answer 3 questions within one frequently asked section. Keep it focused. One question, one answer. Start with a minimum of 10 questions. You can always add more later, but at least have something published this week with 10 questions to start this going. And again, the checklist will have the structure on how you can get this done, so then it's easier to follow through and implement. And I will tell you, this single page can make or break your AI visibility. I learned that businesses who go from invisible to being cited across multiple platforms just get better because they finally created this structured frequently asked question page. Your fourth action is to fix your consistency problem. And this is often the quickest win, and it takes about 1 to 2 hours. Here's what AI does. It will cross-reference everything about you. And if things don't match, across the different sources, it gets confused and it says that you're not a credible source and it won't cite you. So let me give you some examples. In order to get for high confidence, how you can get that. So for example, your website says, let's say you're a leadership coach. Your LinkedIn profile says you're a leadership coach. Media mentions you as a leadership expert and your name. The directors will list you under leadership expert. That doesn't show consistency, right? So AI sees that the different titles within what you offer, it's not clear, and then it just doesn't like it. There's a low confidence where you are like, let's say your website is leadership consultant, your LinkedIn says leadership coach, your director says leadership trainer. AI, again, have no idea what that personally does when you have different titles in different parts and it's not consistent. So you gotta be consistent on how you show up in the different places, websites, social media, directories. The more consistent you are, the better AI will trust the data that it's online. So here's your task. Google yourself, list every platform where you appear, check if your name is spelled identically everywhere, check if your positioning is consistent everywhere, and fix every inconsistency that you find. I know this is tedious, mostly if you've been done the good job of trying to be omnipresent, but it's important to do this. And your checklist has space to track those inconsistencies so that you can find where you need to do the work and fix it. Okay, and then action number 5 is to start your citation ecosystem. Citations are proof to AI that you are a legitimate and authoritative, right? So there are 3 types of sources. Your own properties make up about 40% of those, and that will be your website, if you have a blog, if you have a LinkedIn profile or any social profiles. Then you have the industry platforms, and that takes about 30%. And these are like your Google business profile or any industry specific directories. And then the third is the 30% that it's anything that is media coverage, any guest articles you've written, any places you've been quoted or cited. This is another, counts for another 30%. Now, you're not going to build all of this in 1 week, but you can start small and start taking action day in, day out, right? So this week, you can do 3 things. First, claim your Google Business Profile if you haven't already. It's free and it's a citation source that AI checks. 2, complete your profiles on 2 to 3 industry directories, whether it is the main director for your industry, if you are a coach, maybe in ICF, for industry directories, whatever it is, just complete 2 to 3 industry directories. And 3, make absolutely sure that your name, your address, your phone number are identical everywhere. It needs to match exactly the same format, same spelling everywhere it appears. So your checklist has has that space to go through what's coming up within the directories, or if you need to start building that up from scratch. Okay, so these are the 5 actions that I want you to take, you need to start taking this week. And I know it sounds like a lot, but you don't have to do everything at once. Pick one and start taking action one at a time. And I recommend starting with action 1, test your visibility. That takes 15 minutes and it'll tell you exactly where you stand today with this strategy. Now, let me quickly give you the free tools you can use to do this. So then you have an idea on what are the things that you need the tools that you can leverage for this exercise. The large language models that you need to explore and use are ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. This is for testing your visibility and generating your question bank. Answer the Public is for finding the questions that people ask, and they have a free version of that, so you can use that. SEMrush has free tools for keyword research, so you can use that as well. And then your Google Business Profile is completely free as well, and that's important. It's an important citation for you, right? So you want to have that source, your business in that Google Business Profile. Now let's talk about timeline, because I want to set realistic expectations on this. This is a 90 to 100-day strategy. It's not a 1-2 week implementation. So here's what typically happens. Within week 1 to 4, you're building kind of like the foundation. You are creating content, fixing the consistency, getting everything in place. Within week 4 to 8, AI systems are discovering and putting you in a catalog, like depending on what you are putting in online. And this is really this is the indexing phase from week 4 to 8. Then when we move to week 8 to 12, you'll start seeing initial mentions. They might be partial or inconsistent at first, but you're starting to show up. And then by week 12 to 24, you are getting more consistent recommendations across platforms. Now, what makes it faster? Existing content and credentials, a strong LinkedIn presence, a clear specific niche, right? And again, if maybe it's not LinkedIn for social media, depending on your business, could be a different social media platform, but the strong presence is what's gonna help you, but also have a specific niche as well. What's gonna make it slower? When you're starting from zero, in a super competitive industry, and when you are very broad, generic, and you have a generic positioning, that's not gonna help as much. So here's the thing. Consistent effort over 3 to 6 months will beat years of traditional SEO work. And remember that early data showing significantly better conversion rates that the AI referred traffic, right? And also remember that anyone promising faster results is overselling. This is real work. You really need to work on this. there's a strategy that you need to put the time and the effort to put it together. It's not a quick turnaround. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Download the checklist where you have the specific steps 1 through 5 and everything that you can do. Block 30 minutes on your calendar to start taking action. Test your visibility, go into the incognito mode across the different large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. Once you know where you stand, you will know exactly what to fix first. So that will be kind of like the starting point of this process. The future isn't about being perfect. It is about being findable, okay? And while Google still dominates search, AI platforms are growing rapidly, and this is your window to establish authority before your competitors catches on, okay? Well, hopefully this was very insightful for you, new information, new strategies that you can start implementing in your business. Start this week. Don't wait. And I will see you in my next episode. Thank you.